Guru team, welcome back to Maratha, welcome back to Transport Fever 2 on PS5. As always, don't forget to click that like, and if you're clicking that like, why not subscribe? And if you are a regular subscriber, what about membership? Don't like membership? Try the Patreon. Not sure about the Patreon? How about grabbing yourself a little something from the merch store? That would all be fun, eh? Right, anyway, back to Maratha. What's happening? Well, before we talk too much about what's happening, let's have a look at the finances. Oh my gosh, there's so many reds. So many reds, it's unbelievable. But there are, to be fair, an awful lot of blues. Yeah, jeepers, it's up and down all over the place. We've had an awful lot of things happen in the intervening time, now that it is, would you believe, 2031. And as you can see, a lot of these vehicles here are running pretty good in terms of capacity. This one isn't. Don't know why. Need to check into that one. Some of these things are fully loaded, and we're just waiting on these recovering. I will also point out that you'll see there's an awful lot of diesel vehicles here. The last sort of 10 years, I guess, we spent an awful lot of time replacing the aging steam fleet with diesel. It does carry a bit of cost. And we're still working through balancing some of that stuff out. You will see we've replaced some of the fleet, some of the bus fleet with electric buses, and we've replaced some of the cargo fleet with electric cargo trucks so that we can start to bring our emissions down. By all means, not necessarily across the board. There's no electric intercity bus, really, so I still use the blue bus for the intercity. It's faster, so it maintains the speed and is less of an issue for emissions because it's spending most of its time traveling between cities, not in cities. It still contributes, of course, but the buses that are trundling around inside the cities and cargo that is trundling around inside the cities, I've generally switched to electric, and the cross-country cargo is also still running on diesel trucks, and that's all fine. I haven't converted a single train to electric yet. We'll need to see how some of these costs, particularly some of these trains up here, shake out. I do think it will ultimately be worthwhile, and we'll ultimately end up balancing these out a little bit better. But it's all about change things, wait a while, come back, change things. And some of these distances are quite long. Katerinburg to Jakarta, it takes the train a very long time to get there and get back again, so it's very hard to judge. It is running full, which is great. Is it cost effective? Don't know. We'll need to look into that. Anyway, that is the situation. So, most near everybody is relatively happy, I think, in terms of the needs if we start at the top. Yekaterinburg, brakes, tools, quite a lot of fuel. That's all well and good. Bangkok, machines, bricks could be better. Tools are pretty good. That's okay. Nagoya is now expanding. They've got quite a bit of machines. They've got their food and their fuel sorted, so that's all relatively good. Dubai, how's Dubai doing? Yeah, they're getting pretty much almost everything they need, which is also very, very good. Jakarta has only just started getting, so we're still picking up with machines. They are getting a lot of food. They are getting enough bricks, so they're all on the rise. Daegu, also not too bad. Gosh, they want an awful lot of tools, mind you, and an awful lot of machines, but they are getting the fuel they want. KL, yep, getting quite a few things. Oddly enough, could do with more bricks. That's also fine. Down here at Krasno is good on fuel, good on food, good on bricks, and Quezon down here is good on bricks, good on goods. Let's talk about that in a minute. Good on fuel and good on bread. And Faisalabad's over there. Let's not talk about them just for now. So, on the basis of that, what did I do? What did you do? Well, you can see that there's been some changes in and around Quezon. So we had a well pop up here, and we obviously have the refinery here, and we have a well over there, and we have a goods plant. And everybody got together and had a conversation and built this thing. So this is the Krasnoyarsk chemical plant which is out here between Krasno and Quezon. Now, that is taken. I connected this well here by trucks. There's not enough. I have allowed for a train station. There's not enough fuel being generated here just yet to justify the need of a train, because trains are expensive and this is very close. And we've got trucks which I'm using the electric trucks here, but I could quite easily change them to something bigger. Um, there's not enough current demand to trigger this to produce more. That's the situation. So this all stems back to this thing over here, and how demand drives supply, not supply driving demand. So because this is already well supplied by this thing over here, and you can see that this thing has an awful lot of oil waiting, so our oil trains are running backwards and forwards here. And actually these trains are now, I had to reduce these in size because, again, there was a break in demand when I put this all together. Sometimes it happens. So I reduced the size of the trains because the trains were running mostly empty, and that was costing me an awful lot of money. There's another one here. So these trains now need to be increased in size. And let's do that now. Let us do that now. So these probably need to be at least 144s, I would say. We'll chuck them up to 144s and we'll see how we go. It might be too much. It might be more like a 126 or even a 108, but we've got 400 and something here already. So it's going to take a while for them to work their way through that. So they'll make a little bit of money shifting that, which then means that this guy currently got 0, you see, so he's not producing. So we want to get enough supply into this guy so he's never sitting there with a stored 0. So that's what we need to do. We've got this Quezon plastic supply now, which again, now there's a whole load of stuff waiting. He was in a reduced size, so I think he was at 54. Let's push him out to 108 for now and see how we do, because then that's supplying this guy who's currently sitting with a crazy bat, who's currently sitting at stored 0, which is also a problem because he's only got 5. So this little train here, not this little train, that's my steel train. Is it my steel train? Where's my oil train? Where's my plastic supply? Oh no, that's right. I made this mistake before. I keep looking for an oil train for plastics, but it's not. So this little guy here is only shifting 54. So that's just the discrepancy. So we need to balance up. The demand has increased, so we need to increase the supply so that we can get this sorted through here. And they're good for steel, but they could do with more plastic, which we just found out. Their production is good. Their shipment is on the way up. They are transporting 100%. Currently, this is the only transport they have, Quezon. So they're supplying to Quezon, and we'll have a look at that in a minute. To support this guy, I also had to connect up this steel, which wasn't that hard. We've got the ore there. We've got the coal there. We've got the steel there. It was pretty easy to just connect that up and then connect this through here so that the steel train could loop into those. So we connected that all together. I realize it may have been something you might have wanted to see constructed, but I mean, to be perfectly honest, at this stage in Maratha, you've probably seen a lot of this before. It wasn't that hard. It's all pretty straightforward. Probably the most notable thing was this bridge, maybe, but again, it's a pretty simple sort of S-curve bridge. And there's nothing crazy happening. And obviously these are the large trucks running, which is great because there's an endless supply of this stuff here. And steel-wise, we could certainly be shipping an awful lot more of it. I think this is our steel. So in terms of making us certainly more money, we can go down here and we can add in. We'll take this guy to 126. The limiting factor here isn't steel, it's going to be plastic. So we need to wait for the plastic to pick up. That's all going to change when we start connecting this stuff to the rest of the world. Because Krasno, Daegu, Jakarta, Yekaterinburg, Bangkok and Nagoya, and well, I don't know, maybe Faisalabad at some future. They all want goods, so trying to get goods to them is going to be interesting. Most of them are not problematic. Bangkok's going to be hard because Bangkok and Nagoya, because it's going to be one of their larger supply goods. So tertiary in Yekaterinburg, tertiary in Jakarta, tertiary in Daegu, tertiary in Krasno, not a problem. But the other ones might be a little bit more just the amount. But hopefully, because of the amount that they demand, um, we might be able to sort that out. Might be able to sort that out. Indeed, have a think about what might be the best way to do that. Um, yeah. Because we have this line, and we could also connect up to this line that takes us up here and thing. Let's have a think about that. Anyway, all what I'm saying is this production will all change, and that is just what's going to happen. It's the last of the lines we need to get sorted, so we're just going to keep an eye on it. Quezon, no, that's not what I want. Quezon, just to be annoying, like goods are peppered everywhere. So that's why I've got two truck lines running. There's two cargo stations, and they're supplying the southern part and the northern part of Quezon, up on either side of the main road, so that everybody can be supplied. So now that they are being supplied with everything, we fully expect them to start growing a lot. And as you can see, they've really started to pick up. So the residences here should start picking up, and that should be all good. Whether that changes the need for an updated commuter system remains to be seen. We do have a commute network here. It isn't looking super busy at the minute, so don't know. We will keep an eye on that. So that is the current state of the map. Um, Everything else, like I say, was just a case of going through and rebalancing. Every time you have a major change, you need to go through and rebalance, make sure everything's connecting. All of the bricks are getting to all of the places they need to go to. All of the tools, all of the machines, that you're not running trains that are carrying 4 carriages that are empty, that you aren't having goods stacking up too much. We had in particular this over here was machines, so they're stacking up a bit, but I should probably bear in mind that where is that guy? Gosh, he's only just pulling in now. So they definitely want more, I think. Um, yeah, he's going to drop off 162, which will be fine. That's just one train, so we probably need another train to go through there. Which is fine. These things happen. It's always adjusting, always tinkering, always seeing if you can get things to balance. It's a dynamic balance game, not a static balance game. Things are always on the move. So, what do we want to talk about? We want to talk about Faisalabad, don't we? What on earth are we going to do with Faisalabad? Well, I think what I thought was that um, we've got this fuel and this bread and this cargo thing that needs sorted. The passenger line is doing okay-ish, but it's not really. It's kind of it's quite interesting that that's breaking even. It's sort of breaking even, but this is a long distance, and cargo boats move very slowly. So we definitely want a cargo harbor to travel between two of the shortest places. So that puts a cargo harbor over here somewhere, and how we can get things to that cargo harbor um, probably going to be a mix of road and rail eventually, but I think for now it's very specifically going to be rail. They don't have a massive demand. It's only 87 and 82, but this will most definitely increase quickly the minute we start. They need a new bus? Do they? Okay. How many buses? 62, is it? What kind of bus have they got? They've got that electric bus. So, no. Let's give them another one, just in case. See how we go. So we very definitely would like to make a cargo port. Now, I'm not sure we want to tinker with that. I had to build that, if you remember. Um, let's just have a look at how, because the configuration. So we would have to bring in another large landing, I think, wouldn't we? Definitely doesn't want to give me one, as far as I can see. Oh, maybe it's cargo. We need a large dock first. So we can put a large cargo dock there. So we could have the cargo coming in here. Um, I'm kind of conscious about where it is, and we need a cargo thing and everything else and all the rest of it, and the potential for growth and all the rest of it. So I kind of feel like I want to I want to still keep the passenger dock completely separate. Um, I kind of feel like I want it to be here. I kind of feel like I want a new port. So I kind of feel like if we get a cargo harbor and we put it over here, and I kind of like that there, then what we can look at is how we're going to configure it from here. We might need to do a little bit of jiggery pokery and changing around. A pedestrian entrance, cargo main building. We already have a main building, but I wonder if we don't make this look like a bit of a bigger port, and we start to try and make it look a little bit more substantial. It's going to become substantial, that much is true, and we need large docks. So I think we need. We can't put a large dock on the front. You can put a large dock. I'm trying to think about space, because we could put a large dock there, and we could put a large dock there, and then if we needed to in the future, we could put in additional docks. So I think we put in those docks. Now let's see what it thinks about the landings, because we need large landings. Oh, we can't. We need to put a landing on that side and a landing on that side. Right. So we've got two large docks, two large landings. I think what we really need to do is we probably need to get this to a similar depth. So we want to make it look like a cargo port. So it's definitely, you would definitely have enough berth space. So we'll do that, and enough berth depth. And we'll do that. That cost us a bit of money. And then what we'll do is we'll use the old smoothie tool, and we'll smoothie around, and we'll make that look like it's more natural, right? Okay, so we've got a cargo. We need to connect it with something, so we're going to be connecting it with our road. We're going to want it to be a big road. Maybe we want it to be a fancy road. Doesn't have to be. Come to think of it, we probably want it to be one way. So actually we could make it smaller. Do this before, where you come in and you do a loop. Now, what side do they come in? They drive on the right. So we probably want them to go this way. So we can certainly drive in here. And then we obviously have this. What I'd like to do, I think, is I'd like to put the cargo in the middle. Do I want to put it in the middle? I want to put it on the side so they drive in and drive out. That's right. Let's do that. So what I want to do is we're going to want quite a few bays on the cargo. So that's not exactly the angle I wanted. nor is that. Kind of hard to see here. Is that it? Right, we've got that. And we've got that. Let's just ignore that for now. So what I wanted to do is I want to get this in here. And what I will do is I will make it, you can see it connects with the port. So what I will do is I will make it wide enough and long enough to act as a one-way system. So what we can do here is we can do that, and then we can go in and do some configure jiggery, and we'll delete that, and it might let me put this here. It doesn't. It's sometimes a problem child to this thing. We can need to turn it around. Can we turn it around? Turn it around, turn it around. Is that going to be enough? I think it might. Let's have a look. Some of the issues with these things. Right, this is a station entrance. Ooh, it's too far away. It won't connect. So we need to move it just a little bit. There's probably a smarter way to do this, isn't there? I mean, that seems about right, does it? Is that the distance we had? Yeah, it's a problem child, isn't it? So what I'm going to have to do is delete that, and put it where I think, and then put the road in later. So we'll put it there, and I think that's probably good enough. And then what we'll do is we will delete that, and we will add in that, and then we can go back to our street and say, yes, we want one of those, and we'll connect that. That's not quite lined up. We'll connect that to that, and that to there, and that to there. And that's as good as we can probably get it. Then what I want to do with this is I want to increase the cargo bays. So we're going to need probably, I'd say at least 4, but let's balance. Let's say 6, and then we're going to widen this puppy out, and we're going to make it about this length, because we're going to be having to use this as a cargo depot, and there's going to be a lot of trucks coming through here and a lot of goods being moved, and we want it to make look like a serious port. And then what I need is my street exit, and we might actually do, oh look, they tee up nicely. We might actually do 3 street exits. They're not quite super balanced. We've got some wonky donkey there on that. I think what we'll actually, let's get rid of this, sorry, temporarily, and also let us get rid of that. Is there a reason why you're not letting me delete that? Why are you not letting me delete that? Delete. Okay, is that a... Why are you not... Am I going to have to delete the whole thing and start again? This is very inconvenient. Why is it doing this? Delete. Is there a reason? There you go. Just that thing. Right. Let's go back and do a little bit of topography. So let's flatten that out first. Let's do that. Let's do that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that. We can even delete that one. Thank you. No, that's not. I wanted that level. Right. Okay. Smoothie tool. Right. Let's try again, shall we? Okay. Exits. There, and there would be pretty good. Right. Roadwise, we then want this connection to come up here just doesn't want to make this happen, does it? How do we do this? Why is this game so hard? Ugh. Man, this is inconvenient. Right. Gosh, this is so inconvenient. Can we where's the connector on this? There it is. There it is. There it is. Right. We know this worked beforehand. Right. So, if this worked beforehand, it should, we hope, work now. Yes. 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 Why are you still a ramp? Ah. This game. Frustrate-a-moose. This one? Not exactly, but maybe exactly. Right. Okay. And these two connected. Right. Could we make this look like it's meant to be the same length, perhaps? I wish we had better grid snapping than we currently do. Right. So, that's our cargo port system. And their industrial buildings. If I were to rule the world and say, could we change that into a bigger street? And could we make this perhaps, no, a curve that curves like that and then like that? Be nice if we could get it in the middle, wouldn't it? Oh my gosh. I knew there's an easier way to do this, right? Right, there we go. So, we have this connection. Here's the road. Woo, look at that. That's a heck of a ramp. Anyway, don't care. Right. So that's what we're going to have as the cargo system over here on Faisalabad, and that's going to take our stuff. Now, we need to do something similar over on this side. So why don't you let me do that, which will involve a little bit of the faff that you've just seen, and I'll bring you right in when that's finished. All right, I'll see you in a minute. See you soon. Right, so this is what I've come up with for this side. So I've decided to put it here. It's almost directly across, so this is straight line. I mean, I could have put it out on this like sand spit peninsula and it would be even shorter, but it's going to require a lot of messing around. I want to get trains from this refinery over here for the fuel. I can run those around this coast, which is fine. And the other thing I want is food. I was thinking of grabbing food from down here because this line comes up through here and then runs up that way. So I can possibly look to try and pull off here and come across country and connect it in here, and then we've got food in that. I've built in this area here, a bit wonky donkey. Gosh, some of this stuff is so hard to try and you can't move it once you've placed it. There's no shove. I certainly hope in Transport Fever 3 they give you an awful lot more placement options, because a lot of the clunkiness in developing this comes out of not having these things available. So anyway, so I've built this. It's big, it's got stuff, it looks busy, it's going to be busy. The plan is for it to be busy. They have their like busy port over here, which is fine. I'm sure roads will build around it and everything as time goes on. That's all fine. I'm going to put my my boatyard over there. We can do stuff to develop this area and make it look a bit pretty in the longer term. So what is left to do? Well, what is left to do is connect this up here. we have, I don't know if this angle, because this would be a heck of an angle. We have here, I can do that. It is an angle, that is for sure. Look, catenary's on, which is fine. So I've got that angle there. I think that's a good start. That will get us over that way. And then I'll need to connect it up there. So I'll just crack on and do some of that. And then we'll have a look at it after that, alright? See you in a sec. Right. Welcome back. So here we go. Let's have a quick look. So what we've got here is we had this spare-ish platform. So I've pulled off this spare platform and we loop around here and we go down the coast. Now I do appreciate that things like this loop are gonna slow my train down a little bit, but I like it. From a design perspective, I like it. I think it's, yeah, I could have just tunneled straight through there and done a straight line, and that would be great. But from a design perspective, I prefer this. I think this just looks cool. This just looks really good. It looks like it's more historic rather than just a, you know. Yes, of course, we could just do straight lines and spend a lot of money. We have a lot of money, but we don't want to do that at all. And down the other side, we'll run a little bit of the old smoothie. Down the other side, I mean, I tried to kind of similar vein in that there's things we need to bypass. There's industries and various other bits and pieces I wanted to get, you know, close to, but not too close to, as it were. We got this cut seems to be problematic. Don't really know why it's problematic. I'll have a look at that one. And then down here, I haven't been through and tidied everything up. There's a lot of tidying up to do later. So yeah, so we pulled off there. So we've got this triangle out here. It's all long distance. This is the major highway, or was, to the north. So it's gonna need a little bit of jiggery pokery, I think, to be honest. I think it doesn't seem to be super well patronized at this stage. I think what I'll do is probably upgrade it. Can I do that whole thing? Oh, I can do that whole stretch as an upgrade, including my bridge, which is awesome. And it doesn't mess with my bridge piers because it's such a nice little bridge. And we'll upgrade this as a main road. And this is already a main road. And what we will do from here, is we will do a little bridge. Where are we going to connect to? So probably got to do a bridge right over here. Let's see now, 1, 2, 3, 4 should do it, I think. 4 should do it. Doesn't like that at all. What about that? Doesn't like that. How far are we gonna go? No, bridge collision. You can do that. It ends up as a weird kind of a thing. Let's bring that down to the ground. I would like this to connect to my bridge. Yeah, usually about 200-ish meters sees a nice, relatively sensible slope, and probably about the same out this way, and then we can connect that to there, and we can connect that to the existing there. That's crying out for roundabout. We can sort that out another stage, and let's see, can we change this? Concrete, how's that look? That pillar's awfully close, isn't it? Wonder what happens if we delete that bit, and then we make that concrete, and we make that concrete, and we try and connect the two. Sometimes this changes where you get the pillars, and sometimes it does not. It really doesn't. It really wants to put that pillar there. So maybe we connect that one, and then see where we go. That puts the pillar in a different place. So that puts the pillar in a different place. Seems to be, it's the same deck height. So I think that looks good. We'll delete that, and possibly that. And we'll go from this deck height down to ground. 237, that'll be fine. Yeah, okay, that makes a slightly better bridge. Ah! Oh, you, sir. You, sir. Right, you're a pain. Let's do it from this side. Now. You really want a pillar to be there? You're really trying my patience. Oh. There's no way to do this, is there? Bridges. For the new one, can we get better bridges? Please? Right. Just such a pain. Right, let's see what it does with this. Ah. That pillar! Ah! Just move the pillar, for heaven's sake. Click the node. Wrong node, sir! What is going on? Sometimes this game is incredibly frustrating, right? Come on, you can move this pillar. Surely you can move the pillar. Oh, you can't move the pillar. Right, never mind. Alright, how are we going to fix this? You know, the problem is that it doesn't like diagonals. It loves the straight line, right? Loves the straight line. Hates a diagonal. It's so infuriating. And there's no way to move this, right? And it's just trial and error and trial and error, and you end up with this thing here like that, which is so annoying. It's still too close. It's still too close. I don't know how to unclose it. Everything I try, it wants to put a pillar right next to the track. It just won't let me. That distance is just super annoying. So we're left having to do this kind of thing. Try and get that second one in. Where we do this, and we get what we got there. We've got some weirdness happening. And then I need to kind of try and make this a sensible loop. 84. I don't even know if we're going to be able to get it out past this. I don't think it's doesn't even care. 2, 3, 4. Why are you not? It wants to snap to that industry. Let's bring this down so we can reduce the deck height. Yeah, okay. And then we can do that. Can we do that? I'd like this to be down. Right. Jeepers. Bridges. I hate bridges. I really do. Right. So we've managed to connect that with one of the wonkiest things I've ever made, thanks to all of the issues with bridge pillar collisions and nodes snapping. So there you go. Some of the torments of life. Right. Rather than bore you any longer with various things that happen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the routes. I'm going to set up a train line from here to the port. And I'm going to set up with the food from here to the port. And then I'm going to set up my ship. And then I'm going to set up a collection. I'm going to do all that. And I'm going to run it for a little bit and see what's happening. And I'll bring you back in for a final thoughts and words about Faisalabad. Once I've confirmed that that's actually up and running, okay? It's an awful lot of just busy work. And you don't need to see it. And I'll be back right soon. See you soon. Right, welcome back. Well, we're off and away. I'll turn it down a little bit so it's not quite so fast. So we've got fuel coming in here. We do have food coming in here. You can see that there is, this is the fuel ships, which are running on this side. This is the food ships, which are running on that side. So you can see we've got some food stacking up at the port. We've got fuel stacking up at the port. That is all well and good. And then these are being shipped over here. Now we've got some fuel stacking up here, but we don't have We don't have enough food yet. The food's taking a little bit longer to balance out. It's just got so much further to run. Which is perfectly fine. That increased demand has pushed this up a level, so it has just gone up a level. So I'm probably going to have to add in another train to supply. This is fine. There is some excess, but the increased demand here will probably push this guy to produce a little bit more. If we need to bring some more grain in, there is additional grain over here that we could potentially throw in to offset that supply issue. So our grain boat's going over, everything's going over. Faisalabad is now getting stuff. So it's carrying 60 fuel and 15 food, and it's obviously now on the uppity up, and things are looking a little bit better for it. So Faisalabad is moving ahead, and they have now decided they want extra things, so they now want tools and machines, which is of course to be expected. We have tool supply over here, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue. Machines might be a little bit more problematic. Currently the only place that's making any abundance of machines is way over here. It's a long distance, and it's a very minor demand for these guys. So I wonder. We will need to have a little think about that. So that is Faisalabad. We've got some things to do with Quezon, with connecting up goods to the rest of the map. Faisalabad's looking like it's getting there, which is perfectly fine. Don't have any issues with that. We'll see how Faisalabad goes, and I'll keep ironing the supply and demand matrix and everything else, but this all seems to be working reasonably well so far. We'll see how it goes when pressure comes on. There are some pinch points developing. This junction system here is proving to be a little bit of a problem with some of my trains, so I might have to redo that, particularly with the oil supply through to the fuel supply is causing a few issues. So I need to iron that out. I need to go through, make sure there's nothing strange, startling, or fascinating happening. You can see that there is some brick supply issues going on with Daegu and Quezon, and it seems to be that there's a few brick supply issues in terms of some of our brick trucks and things. That's great. That just means that the cities are growing, the demand is growing, and we need to keep up with demand. Got machines here stacking up for Jakarta, which was to be expected because it's a long distance, probably need a second train. There's an awful lot going on, and we've still got plenty to do. This is not the end game by any stretch of the imagination. Once we get some of these things sorted, and once we get Quezon delivering products to everybody, we need to talk about improvements in terms of efficiency. You know, this road network isn't fully operational, you know, so we need to get a few things sorted out. We need to get a few things tidied. Then we need to start looking at detailing, tidying this up, making this look like a complete system rather than just look like what it is currently, which is a way to get goods from A to B and back again. Okay? Do hope you like it. Do stay tuned. There still is plenty more to do on Maratha, plenty more to do, and we haven't finished by a long chalk. If you are liking, please subscribe. If you feel like it, chuck in a super thanks. It would be much appreciated. You can check out my Patreon if you want. Check out my memberships, of course, on the channel, and check out my merchandising store if you feel like buying anything for a friend, family, or loved one, or just treating yourself. Thank you very much. I'll see you all again for another one soon. Ta-ta for now.